Most people think the only way to earn more money is to quit their job or get a promotion, but the truth is you don't have to walk away from your 9 to 5 to start multiplying your income. In fact, your full-time job can be the foundation that allows you to safely build other income streams without the stress of wondering how you'll pay your bills. The key is shifting how you think about money and how you use your time outside of work. Let's break this down step by step. The first thing to understand is that your 9 to 5 job provides stability. That paycheck is what keeps the lights on and covers your daily expenses. Too many people get impatient and want to abandon their job right away, but the reality is your salary is your launchpad. It allows you to take risks in other areas without jeopardizing your survival. If you can start thinking of your job not as a trap, but as a safety net, you'll approach money with a much clearer mindset. Now, multiplying your income means you need to stop relying on just one source of money. Think of your paycheck as one stream. If that's all you have, then every dollar you need in life has to come from that single source. But if you start building extra streams on the side, suddenly your life changes. You're not just trading hours for money anymore. You're building systems that can keep working even when you're not. So what does that look like in practice? One of the simplest ways to multiply your income is through skills. A skill is something that doesn't just get you hired. It gets you paid outside of work too. Let's say you're good at graphic design, writing, or coding. You can take on freelance projects in your spare time. Even a few hours a week can add hundreds of extra dollars each month. Over time, those side projects compound into something bigger. Many people eventually build a small business this way, but even if you don't, you're adding extra streams of income that stack on top of your paycheck. But maybe freelancing isn't your thing. Another option is starting small with digital income streams. That could be creating an online course, writing an ebook, or starting a blog or YouTube channel. At first, these might not pay much. In fact, you might work for months before you see a single dollar. But once they gain traction, they can turn into something powerful, income that continues to come in even when you're not actively working. That's how people start multiplying their income beyond the hours they put in. Then there's investing. If you're serious about multiplying income, you have to make your money work for you. This is where your 9 to 5 paycheck becomes a tool. Instead of spending every extra dollar, you funnel it into assets that produce returns. Stocks, index funds, or real estate are classic examples. For instance, if you invest consistently into index funds, you're building a portfolio that pays you dividends. It might start small, but over years, those dividends grow into a meaningful stream of income. Real estate works in a similar way. Buying a rental property might seem out of reach at first, but with steady saving from your job, you can eventually acquire an asset that pays you every month. Another way to multiply your income is by using your existing career skills in a new way. For example, let's say you work in accounting, marketing, or IT. There are businesses that would happily pay you for consulting services outside of your 9 to 5 hours. You don't have to build a massive firm. You can simply start offering advice, support, or training. The difference is that now your expertise isn't capped at one salary. It starts branching out into multiple payments. Now here's the part that most people overlook. Multiplying income isn't just about adding new streams. It's about protecting the streams you already have. If you don't manage your money wisely, all the side hustles and investments won't matter. This is why discipline is so important. Avoiding lifestyle creep is one of the most powerful moves you can make. Every time you earn more, don't immediately spend more. Instead, redirect that extra income into building even more streams. That's how the wealthy think. They don't measure success by how much they spend, but by how much they can make their money multiply. Think of it like this. The first time you add a second stream of income, your life feels different. Suddenly, you're not as stressed about relying only on your paycheck. The second or third stream changes everything again. You start to realize you're not trapped anymore. You have options. And once you have options, you have freedom. Let's talk about some realistic examples of multiplying income while keeping your 9 to 5. Imagine someone working in IT. They decide to start teaching coding on weekends to small groups of beginners. They charge $200 per student for an 8-week program with 10 students per round. That's $2,000 extra per round of classes. Do that a few times a year and suddenly they've added an extra $6,000, $10,000 on top of their salary. Or think about someone who's good at photography. They keep their full-time office job, but start doing freelance photo shoots on weekends, even charging $300 per session. Doing just a couple of shoots a month can add an extra $600 at $1,000 per month. That's $7,000, $12,000 a year without quitting their job. Then there are those who focus on investments. Say you save and invest $500 a month into index funds. At a 7% average annual return, after 10 years you'd have nearly $86,000. At that point, your portfolio itself is producing thousands of dollars in returns every year on top of your salary. Notice something here. None of these examples involve quitting a job. They all use the stability of the 9 to 5 as the base, and then build additional streams around it. This is the mindset shift. Stop seeing your job as the ceiling and start seeing it as the foundation. Of course, multiplying your income takes time and patience. It doesn't happen overnight, and anyone promising you a quick shortcut is selling you a dream. But small, consistent moves make a massive difference. The person who invests $200 a month and builds a side hustle will end up far ahead of the person who only relies on their paycheck and hopes for a raise. And here's the real secret. When you build multiple streams, you're not just multiplying money, you're multiplying security. If one stream slows down, you still have others. If you lose your job, you're not starting from zero. This is what financial independence looks like. Not necessarily quitting your job tomorrow, but knowing you could if you had to. The truth is, most people only see their paycheck as their only lifeline. That's why they panic when layoffs happen or when bills suddenly rise. But when you've got other streams quietly feeding into your bank account, you stop worrying about every little bump. You move from survival to stability, and from stability to freedom. So if you're wondering how to multiply your income while keeping your 9 to 5, the answer is simple. Start where you are. Use your paycheck as your foundation, pick one stream to add on top of it, and stay consistent. Over time, that one stream can become 2, and 2 can become 3. Before you know it, you'll realize you've built a financial life that no longer depends on just one paycheck. And this shift doesn't just change your bank account, it changes how you live. Decisions aren't made out of fear anymore. You're not trapped in a job you hate because you have to stay. You choose whether to stay or go because your income isn't tied to just one employer. That's real freedom. The freedom to work because you want to, not because you're forced to. The people who win with money aren't always the ones with the highest salaries. They're the ones who learn how to make their money work in different ways, stacking streams until they create freedom. That freedom doesn't start with quitting your job. It starts with using your job as leverage to build something bigger. Think about it. Your 9 to 5 gives you more than just a paycheck. It gives you stability, benefits, and often the breathing room to take calculated risks outside of work. The mistake most people make is thinking they need to leave their job in order to start building wealth. The truth is, your job is the perfect launching pad. It funds your first investments, it buys you time to experiment with side projects, and it covers your bills so you can take smart risks without panic. So keep your 9 to 5. But don't stop there. Start building. Start multiplying. Because the sooner you do, the sooner you'll realize your income doesn't have to be limited by one paycheck. It can be expanded by the streams you create outside of it. And once you taste what that feels like, you'll never want to go back to relying on just one source again. That moment when your side income covers your rent, or when your investments pay for your groceries, it changes everything. It shows you that money can come from places other than your employer. That's when your mindset shifts from "I have to work to survive" to "my money and my skills are working for me." And once you cross that line, you don't just gain extra income. You gain confidence, options, and freedom. The goal isn't to escape your job tomorrow. The goal is to build so steadily and consistently that one day, you look up and realize your 9 to 5 is optional. That's the power of multiplying streams. That's how ordinary people create extraordinary freedom.